Hey everyone, it's your girl Catherine Martinez. My name on Instagram is NYC_2_LA. I just want to thank everyone who has subscribed to the channel, liked the video, shared the video. It is truly appreciated. So let's keep on with the support. Also be sure to check the description of this video. I have included the hotline number for domestic violence as well as family justice centers in New York City. I have included the address as well as the numbers. They do help with domestic violence, legal work, case management. They also provide psychological services if necessary, and shelters as well. So be sure to check the description, and if you have any questions, feel free to DM me or also send an email to justicefortonie@gmail.com. That email is also in the description of this video. So again, thank you so much for your support and stay tuned. So as I ended the last video, my aunt gets a DM from a random account who happened to be Barry's best friend, which we later discovered, saying to call me. So when my aunt calls the number, the person answers and says, yeah, your daughter's done. And my aunt's kind of confused as to, what do you mean by she's done? She's assuming that Tonie had hurt Barry. And he goes, no, we found her body in the basement. And my aunt says that her body just went numb and she didn't feel anything. It didn't feel real. And she kind of snaps back and she's like, where's Charlie? Because that was her first concern. Like, okay, if he hurt Tonie, did he hurt the baby as well? And so the neighbor's like, she's with me. She's okay. She's with me and my wife. So my aunt hangs up the phone and she said that she didn't feel anything. Like, she just started crying and like yelling in her house and running up and down and just yelling like, no, he took her. And so little Ellie, who's Tonie's little sister, comes out the room. And she's like, Mom, what's going on? And she goes, Barry killed Tonie. She's gone. He took her. And little Ellie's like, Mom, stop lying, Mom. Like, Mom, stop lying. And she goes, no, like he took her. He killed her. And so she keeps yelling. And she tries to call the older brother, Alvin, and he had just left for work, so he wasn't answering. So my aunt calls my mom's job, and a coworker answers, and she's like, let me speak to my sister. So when my mom gets on the phone, my aunt says she's gone. Like, she's gone. He killed her. And my mom's confused, like, he killed who are you talking about? What are you talking about, Ellie? And my aunt goes, Barry killed Tonie. He took her. And my mom just drops the phone. And she said, like, the world just like started spinning, And my mom also like snaps back into reality. She's like, where is she? Like, where's Charlie? Where's Tonie? And my aunt goes, he killed her at his house in Brooklyn. She goes, I'm heading there now. So they hang up, and my aunt, she starts heading to Brooklyn. My mom, she's in a daze, and her co-workers kind of got her together and was like, all right, let's go to Brooklyn. Let's let's figure this out. And as that's happening, my mom, I guess as she was heading to Brooklyn, she calls me. And so I get a missed call, and so I call her back, and I'm like, hey, Ma. And she goes, Barry killed her. And I'm like, what? And she goes, Barry killed Tonie. And I just remember just like letting out this scream of like this helpless scream of like, no, like, no, this can't be true. It can't be true. And I just start yelling and I'm crying and I'm like, no, like, no, like, I'm sorry, Tone, like, it's not true. And I'm like, where is she? And she goes, she's in Brooklyn. We're all heading to Brooklyn now. And I was like, okay, like, I have the address from Christmas when we got her stuff. I'm like, I still have the address. I'll head there. And so my brother, Kenny, he's in the living room, and he's like, what happened? And I'm like, Barry killed Tonie. And I spend like 20 minutes like hyperventilating, trying to figure out what to do. So this is the point where we all find out it was in Brooklyn. So we all start heading to Brooklyn. So my mom's the first one to arrive at the scene. And by the time she got there, the street was already barricaded. The cops were there. The ambulance were there. So my mama just started crying, just knowing that like Tonie's in that house and not being able to go in. So she's just like yelling, like, that's my niece, like I need to go in there, like I need to see her, I need to see her. And as that's happening, like she's yelling and the cops are trying to calm her down, the neighbor comes out with Charlie. You know, Charlie's just like weeping. Of course, like everything that just happened, like she witnessed it all, you know. So my mom calms Charlie down. She's like, you know, let's calm down. She puts Elmo on, she said. And so she sits in the neighbor's house as she's waiting for my aunt to get there. And she's asking the neighbor, you know, like, what happened? And the neighbor says, you know, I heard them arguing since early in the morning about some girl. Allegedly, he says they were arguing about some girl. And he heard the noise, and then he just heard silence. And they heard the baby crying. And they heard the baby crying like for a long period of time. He didn't say how many minutes. He just said, I heard the baby crying, and my wife went downstairs. And so his wife goes downstairs and gets the baby and comes back upstairs. The neighbor claims that he got a text from Barry saying to check the basement. That's one theory. So when the neighbor went to check the basement, he saw Tonie at the bottom of the stairs. So he calls the cops. So my mom, you know, she's kind of interrogating the neighbor, like, why didn't you get in? Like, why didn't you call? Like, you heard them arguing. And he goes, well, Barry has, you know, Barry's been family for a while, and, you know, I didn't want to get involved, but like, you know, before I would tell Barry that what he's doing is wrong, and that one day he's gonna hurt her, and that he needs to stop. He felt like they argued all the time. Like, he thought it was gonna be like every other time. And so he goes, you know, my conscience is like hurting me because I could have saved her. So that's when my aunt finally gets there. Of course, when my aunt got there with little Ellie, the cops were already there. It was already barricaded. The news media was there. So she just goes, you know, straight upstairs and just she stays there briefly, and she just kind of asks the neighbor too, just, you know, why didn't you call the cops? Like, you know, you heard them arguing, and you know, you heard them going back and forth. And he said, you know, I thought it was gonna be like every other time. You know, I didn't think it was gonna be serious. So as they're having that conversation, the cops come and say that the baby has to go to the hospital, just to be checked for bruises, and that someone has to go to the precinct to speak to the detectives. So my aunt agrees that, okay, like, my mom was going to take the baby to the hospital, and that she was going to go to the precinct, and then they'll meet up. So my aunt goes to the precinct, and she stood there for a little bit, and they asked her questions about, you know, Tonie and Barry, and about their relationship and the kind of car that he drives. I'm not sure, I don't think they call him at that point. As that's happening, my mom went to the hospital with little Ellie and the baby just to get her checked. And I remember as I was like heading to the house, you know, I get a call, and my mom says, meet me at the hospital. When I got to the hospital and I saw Charlie, and it just like instantly just broke my heart. And then I saw little Ellie, and you know, I go to hug her, and she's like, he took my sister, like, he's evil, he took my sister. And I just like broke down with little Ellie, and I just hugged her, and I'm like, I'm so sorry. And I remember we got it together, because Charlie just kind of looked at us like, you're crying? And we didn't want to show her that, you know, we didn't want to show her that we were crying. So we like made up, we were like, oh, we feel sick, you know, little Ellie and Kathy are sick. And then my aunt finally gets there, and my aunt was being so strong about it, but I think she was more so in shock of like my child is gone, you know, like, he murdered my child. And that's what she kept saying. She's like, you know, he murdered my daughter. Like, why? Like, why me? Why my child? And so we had to go back to the precinct because my aunt had gave a statement. So I guess now my mom had to give a statement because she, you know, she was also there with Tonie when Tonie went to the precinct before about Barry. And I remember just being there just for hours, and it was just like everyone was kind of just like in limbo, just sitting there. And we all had our moments where like we'll just like burst out crying, you know. It would just hit us at random moments, like, this is real, like, we're here and this is so real. And I think what broke us the most was at one point, Charlie was with my aunt, and she goes, "Mama, Daddy put Mommy Mimi like this." And I think it was that moment that it just hit us that evil had entered our lives and like destroyed it. And this little girl witnessed it. You know, we're trying to figure out or put the pieces together as to why did Tonie go back and how did she get back there. And we just received news that Tonie did in fact stay at the shelter the night that she got there. She woke up and she spoke to a social worker, and she told the social worker that she was going to be coming back. She was going to be in a little late because she got off of work late. She leaves probably like 8 in the morning, and they say that they saw the surveillance videos and that they see her walking, and that they see the baby kind of running towards a car, and then eventually they see Tonie getting in the car. So we're assuming that either they spoke and he met her there, or somehow he found out she was there. But one way or another, she got in his car. And just knowing that she told the social worker that she was going to be back, it kind of solidified the fact of like, she was in fact done, and she did want that. But maybe she just needed that last conversation with him. Maybe she just wanted that closure, and he didn't like what he was hearing, or he probably knew that she was done, and he decided that that was going to be the end for her and eventually for himself.